Hello everybody, and welcome back to From the Rafters of Rupp, the Kentucky Legends Edition. I'm Kyle Macy. This season we continue to highlight Wildcat legends of the past, honoring those who have proudly worn the Kentucky blue and white throughout their distinguished careers at UK. So settle in and relax as we bring you another episode of From the Rafters of Rupp, the Kentucky Legends Edition. Jeff Sheppard's accomplishments at the University of Kentucky are among the most impressive of any Wildcat in the history of the Kentucky basketball program. Between 1994 and 1998, the 6'3" guard was a member of 2 national championship teams and voted the most outstanding player of the Final Four during the Cats' 1998 national championship run. Jeff was born in Marietta, Georgia, and we began our conversation discussing his early memories of growing up in Bulldog country.
When we moved to Athens, joined an awesome YMCA there and played a little bit of tennis, did some wrestling, learned how to wrestle a little bit, and never played soccer, but baseball, football, played tennis a little bit, and until I got to middle school and kind of started focusing on basketball.
Jeff fell in love with the game of basketball at a very young age. He talks about his childhood dreams and the basketball future he envisioned for himself.
Well, when I was a little boy in the 6th grade, I wrote a paper, and my paper said, I want to trade places with Larry Bird and play for the Boston Celtics in the NBA, but first I want to go to the University of Kentucky and play in the Final Four for the University of Kentucky. And so even though there was a love for Georgia football my whole life, and there still is, Kentucky basketball held a special place in my heart as well.
His family moved to Peachtree, Georgia, just prior to Jeff entering his middle school years. He received continuous support from his parents as he worked and strived to develop his basketball skills.
My parents were just always there. I can remember my dad pulling a chair out in the backyard and just watching. He wasn't instructing me because he played a little bit of football in high school, but never played basketball. So learned a really powerful lesson. Just him simply being there was very, very unique for me.
Midway through his 8th grade basketball season, Jeff suffered a broken collarbone. The setback, however, only inspired and motivated Sheppard to more fully devote himself to the game he loved.
Mom and Dad bought me some Pistol Pete Maravich instructional videotapes that I watched, and I just kind of got this fire burning inside of me because I couldn't do anything and I couldn't play. And so I kind of started mapping out my summer and all these drills I was going to be doing and how all these goals I was going to have to get on the varsity and that kind of thing. And so I kind of came out of that summer and I grew 4 inches also, so that always helps, and was ready for high school.
With a lot of sweat and determination, Jeff's game continued to evolve. As a freshman, he earned a starting role on his varsity team at McIntosh High School. Interestingly enough, Jeff patterned his style of play after Kentucky legend Rex Chapman.
No, Rex Chapman was my favorite player. And so when I would see him do some things, I would go out and try those things. And seeing, kind of a unique way that Rex moved, and of course he could jump and dunk the ball, and that was it's a fun part of playing basketball. So kind of watching him and trying to be like him was definitely part of my development.
Jeff established himself as a top high school prospect in Georgia. After his senior year, he was awarded Georgia's Mr. Basketball. He was also named as state's Gatorade Player of the Year, as well as a Parade All-American. We discussed what Jeff recalls about the demanding aspects of the recruiting process.
My recruitment was kind of like everybody else, and then if Kentucky offered, that was going to be where I wanted to go. And I was kind of going through the recruitment with a lot of other schools, Indiana, Vanderbilt, Florida, Georgia, Virginia, kind of the top schools that I was looking at and taking visits to and trying to kind of get my arms around, and then Kentucky called.
We'll be right back with more of my conversation with Jeff Sheppard after these words from our sponsors. The Cats were fresh off a Final Four appearance when Jeff Sheppard signed with Kentucky in 1993. Jeff shares his excitement at the time of being a part of the Wildcat program and playing for Coach Rick Pitino.
You know, I was coming in and we were off probation, and we were now back to the Final Four, and you know, the 92 team, you know, was so special, and it was so close to the Final Four, and it was like Kentucky basketball was back. And Pitino had more momentum than any coach in the country at that time. And I was getting to be a small part of it. It was pretty exciting.
Jeff found out immediately what the expectations in a Coach Pitino system looked like. He recalls arriving on the UK campus for the first time as a college freshman.
Yeah, first practice was a little rough. I could remember driving in and meeting Sean Brown. Sean Brown was the strength coach at the time at Kentucky, and I hadn't even unpacked my car. I mean, I had my car full of stuff, and I just pulled in and checked in, and Sean Brown grabs me and says, "Hey, let's get a workout in real quick," you know, and 15 minutes later, I'm puking and thinking, what have I signed up for?
The adjustment for most college freshmen, both on and off the court, is truly a struggle. Jeff found his transition, however, was made much easier by the incredible support he received from the Cats upperclassmen.
But I can remember Travis Ford really leading well. Not only on the basketball court, but Travis was really important to me off the basketball court. I can remember showing up on campus, and one of my first trips out of Lexington was with him back to his hometown to Madisonville, just to get away and get out in the state and see the response that the fans have around the players around the state was eye-opening to me.
The 1994 Kentucky squad was ranked in the country's top 10 for the entire season. The Cats were led in scoring by sophomore guard Tony Delk's 16.5 points per game. Jeff played limited minutes as a freshman and yet gained the experience needed to eventually thrive in the Rick Pitino system.
And I played a little bit early my freshman year. By the time the SEC tournament and the NCAA tournament rolled around, I wasn't getting any playing time. But even through that, I learned how every person on the team has a role, and studying the scouting report and being ready and encouraging and talking from the bench were lessons that I needed to learn to have an appreciation for the whole structure of the team when I did finally get on the court.
As a sophomore, Jeff took over the starting point guard position. Once again, the 1995 Kentucky team spent the entire season ranked in the top 10. Jeff averaged almost 9 points per game for the Cats, and the season ended when number 4 North Carolina downed Kentucky 74-61 in the Elite Eight game played in Birmingham, Alabama.
That one really hurt because that was a team that had the talent, had the ability to throw waves of players at teams, and we were rolling, and just had a disappointing game.
The 95 Cats finished the year 28-5, one step away from the Final Four. Jeff talks about the importance of experiencing those NCAA tournament games and the benefit it had for future tournament success.
And you taste losing in the NCAA tournament. I think one of the best things that college basketball players can taste is ending a season in the NCAA tournament, because it doesn't taste well. And you know you have another shot to return back, and it's such a special tournament. And so you start having this motivation, not only individually but collectively as a team, and you rally around making a special run in the tournament.
We'll be back with more of my conversation with Jeff Sheppard after these words from our sponsors. Kentucky began the '96 campaign ranked #1 in the country. During the course of that season, the Cats reeled off a 26-game winning streak and won both the SEC regular season and SEC tournament championships. The Cats marched their way through the early rounds of the NCAA tournament and rolled into the Final Four in East Rutherford, New Jersey, to face a John Calipari UMass team that had defeated the Cats earlier in the season.
Well, #1, UMass was a great team. Marcus Camby was a special college player, and the other players on that UMass team were tough. They were well-conditioned, tough players. They handled our pressure probably better than anyone handled our pressure all year.
Kentucky defeated UMass 81-74. Sheppard chipped in with 7 points on 2 of 2 shooting from the field and made 3 out of his 4 charity tosses. In the finals, the Wildcats convincingly knocked off Syracuse 76-67 to claim Kentucky's 6th NCAA national championship.
I look back at my life and I think about all the moments of my life now as a father and as a husband, and yes, it was a very special moment, but it wasn't the best moment of my life. And so it's awesome, but you know, there's so many bigger things in my life with my family, with my faith, that rank so much farther above that. But it was still a very, very special culmination with the guys and the celebration on the court.
Coming off the '96 championship season, the Cats roster looked poised to make another run at a national title in 1997. Before that season began, however, Jeff recalls having a sit-down meeting with Rick Pitino that would change the direction and focus of his senior year.
Really, it was Coach Pitino's idea. Coach Pitino came to me and said, you have a choice. You know, Derek Anderson and Ron Mercer and you are in the same position. And you're going to be competing for playing time against those 2 guys. If you want to redshirt, then they're going to be gone. So, you know, I loved Kentucky basketball, and if he thought that was best for the program and best for me, then I trusted that. And so it wasn't a hard decision for me to redshirt that year.
While Sheppard redshirted, the '97 team mounted a 35-5 record. Once again, Kentucky won the SEC Tournament Championship. Led in scoring by Ron Mercer, Kentucky fell just short of back-to-back NCAA titles, losing in the championship game 84-79 in overtime to Arizona. After the game, rumors began to swirl around the program about the future of Kentucky head coach Rick Pitino.
You know, we always heard rumblings of the NBA. It was every single year there was a rumor of coach going here, or coach going to the Lakers, coach going to the Knicks. Always rumors. So for us, it was just one more rumor. And I can remember Marta, the longtime secretary at Kentucky, she called me up to the office and said, I think coach is going to leave.
After leading the Cats to the Final Four in '93, a national championship in '96, and national runner-up finish in '97, Rick Pitino left Kentucky and signed a 10-year, multi-million-dollar contract to coach the Boston Celtics.
I was in tears. I mean, it was crushing just because we had gone through so much with Coach, and I was anticipating personally, you know, my senior year. We had so much momentum. The '95 season was a national championship caliber team. The '96 and '97 teams were as well. We had another team in '98 that could go and repeat this same thing again, and so it was a tough one to swallow.
UK Athletic Director C.M. Newton led the search for Coach Pitino's replacement. He targeted, then hired, ex-UK assistant and at the time, head coach of the Georgia Bulldogs, Tubby Smith.
Well, Coach Smith immediately kind of brought a different style of leadership. I mentioned Coach Pitino kind of leads you from an arm's distance and doesn't allow you in his inner circle until you're done playing with him. And Coach Smith is polar opposite. He immediately brings you into his inner circle. So we weren't used to that. He immediately started calling us up to his office, and anytime we had gone up to Coach Patino's office, we were in trouble. And so everybody was questioning, what was going on, and Coach Smith just wanted to get to know us. And so immediately he starts building relationships with us.
We'll be right back with more of my conversation with Jeff Sheppard after these words from our sponsors. In Tubby Smith's first year as head coach at Kentucky, the Cats posted a 29-4 record, won the SEC tournament, and entered the NCAA tournament ranked 5th in the country. After wins over South Carolina State, St. Louis, and UCLA, the Cats were matched against the 3rd-ranked Duke Blue Devils in the South Regional Finals in St. Petersburg, Florida.
That was a really good Duke team, but we were playing really good. And they just came out, and we could not slow them down. They were making all shots, and the style of play was the style that we wanted to play. It was a good up and down style, and every time we would kind of get them in a bind, they'd call a timeout, and then they'd be able to rehuddle and get things out, and then we finally get them in another bind. They call another timeout. But that ended up, causing a big problem because second half got going and they didn't have any timeouts. And so momentum kind of shifts to us.
Kentucky rallied from a 17-point second half deficit to earn its 3rd consecutive trip to the Final Four, downing Duke 86-84. Jeff Sheppard led all scorers with 18 points. The second half comeback was a recurring theme for this Kentucky squad and earned them the brand name of the Comeback Cats. I asked Jeff what gave this specific team the ability to fight back when facing uphill battles and huge deficits.
We had been making comebacks since the LSU game. So we really believed that we could make a comeback, that our style of play and our ability to score points in bunches, we only needed a couple of minutes to score 20 points. And it wasn't the first time that we had done that. And so when you've experienced something and you believe it becomes pretty powerful.
Kentucky advanced to the Final Four in San Antonio, Texas. In the national semifinals, the Cats came from behind to defeat Stanford 86-85 in overtime. Then, trailing at halftime in the championship game, the comeback Cats stormed back to take down Utah 78-69 and capture Kentucky's 7th NCAA national championship.
To live in Kentucky and realize how important it is for the people here, and to hear their stories and hear them say, I was in my basement and I had to, put my lucky shirt on to help you win. Everybody's got a reason that we won the national championship like you do, and that makes it special.
Jeff scored 27 points in the semifinal win over Stanford and then 16 in the title game against Utah. For his efforts, Sheppard was named the Final Four Most Outstanding Player. As a 2-time national champion at Kentucky, I asked Jeff how he would like to be remembered by the Big Blue Nation.
Hopefully as a teammate and as a hard worker, a guy that understood his role, and when he had an opportunity, tried to perform to his best of his ability. But the best accolade, the best compliment that I can be given is just that I was a good teammate.
Jeff and his wife, former UK Lady Cats star Stacey Reed Sheppard, have 2 children, Morgan, who is currently a senior point guard at Campbellsville University, and son Reed, who is in his junior year at North Laurel High School and recently committed to play his college basketball at the University of Kentucky. Jeff currently works in the Lexington area.
Right now I'm a financial advisor. I work for Family Wealth Group here in town, but just have had a blast after college basketball, living in Kentucky, raising a family here, getting to travel, wow, just about all over the state and doing different things and meeting different people. And, you know, life in Kentucky is pretty special. And you play here and you're able to be on some great teams and, you know, remembered for those wins and not for your missed free throws and air balls. It's a pretty special life.
Jeff Sheppard's achievements at the University of Kentucky are extraordinary. He's a 4-time SEC tournament champion and a 3-time SEC regular season champion. Jeff is a 2-time NCAA national title holder, and he's a member of the UK's prestigious 1,000 Point Club. In addition, Jeff also received the Most Outstanding Player Award at the Final Four in San Antonio as Kentucky won the NCAA National Championship in 1998. During his outstanding career at UK, Jeff Sheppard performed at the highest level of the college basketball spectrum and won the hearts of the Kentucky fan base with his on-court tenacity. Jeff will be remembered at UK for his unselfish commitment to his teammates and his overall loyalty to the Kentucky basketball program. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Until next time, when we hear more tales from the Rafters of Rupp.